All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a huge topic, model security. It's something that's, well, flying up the priority list for every leader out there. Your AI models, they're incredibly powerful for sure, but they also open up a brand new and pretty vulnerable frontier for attacks. So let's really dig into what that actually means for you.
And just so we're all on the same page, this entire explainer comes straight from Chapter 4 of the AI Security Tutorial for Organizational Leadership from Virtualization Options LLC. So we're diving right into the source material here.
So first things first, what is model security? I mean, it's not your dad's software security, that's for sure. We're talking about protecting the AI algorithms themselves. You know, the very thing that makes AI so amazing, its ability to learn from data, its whole statistical foundation, that's also, ironically, what makes it super vulnerable to these brand new kinds of attacks.
And that brings us to a really critical question for, well, pretty much any organization using AI today. You've poured time, money, and talent into building these amazing AI assets, but how do you actually protect them? How do you stop them from being tricked into making disastrous decisions or corrupted by bad data, or even just flat out stolen by your competitors?
Yeah, this isn't just another chapter in the cybersecurity playbook. We're talking about a completely new security battlefield. And if you want to defend your models, you've got to start by understanding their totally unique vulnerabilities.
And look, the threat landscape here is sophisticated and it's evolving, fast. Attackers aren't just hunting for one little bug in your code anymore. Nope, they can go after the entire AI lifecycle. They can mess with the data your model is learning from, or they can fool the finished model when it's out in the wild making live predictions.
Okay, so to build a really effective defense, you have to learn to think like an attacker. So let's do that. Let's peek inside the adversary's playbook and break down the anatomy of a typical AI attack.
So this table lays it all out, the 4 big attack vectors you need to know. First up, you've got poisoning. This is where someone corrupts your training data. Sneaky, right? The goal is to manipulate how your model behaves down the line, causing these silent, biased results or even system failures. Then there's evasion. This is where an attacker crafts these clever inputs to just fool a trained model. It causes it to make really bad, maybe even dangerous mistakes in real time. Next, model extraction. Think of this as corporate espionage for the AI age. Seriously, competitors can literally reverse engineer and steal your proprietary model. And finally, we have membership inference. This is a huge privacy problem. Attackers can figure out if specific private data, maybe your customer data, was used to train the model. Each one of these is a different kind of nightmare, and each one needs a very specific defense.
Okay, so knowing the threats is one thing, but how in the world do you fight back? Let's switch gears now from the problem to the solution and talk about some proactive strategies to build a really robust defense. So, to make our models tougher, we've got a few key techniques in our arsenal. First, there's adversarial training. It's kind of like giving your model a vaccine. You expose it to bad inputs on purpose during training so it learns how to fight them off. Then there's defensive distillation. This is a process that basically smooths out the model's decision-making, which makes it way less likely to get tricked by tiny, malicious tweaks in the input. Simpler tactics include input pre-processing, just cleaning the data before it even gets to the model. And finally, you can use ensemble methods, which is like getting a second opinion from a bunch of models, or you can add randomization to the mix. Both of those make your system way less predictable for an attacker to figure out.
But here's the thing, and this is absolutely crucial. You can't just build a tough model, pat yourself on the back, and walk away. That's not how this works. The threat landscape is always changing, so a strong defense isn't a one-and-done setup. It demands constant vigilance.
And this chart shows you exactly why that vigilance is so important. Just imagine for a second you're watching your model's health dashboard. All of a sudden, you see its accuracy and its prediction confidence start to tank. At the same time, the number of weird, anomalous inputs just spikes. See, that's not just a little performance glitch. That combination of signals, that could be a massive red flag that your model is actively under attack or maybe dealing with some serious data drift.
So what exactly should you be watching? Well, you want to focus on 4 key areas. First, your performance metrics. Is the model's accuracy suddenly nosediving? Second, do an input analysis. Are you seeing strange, totally unexpected data patterns being fed into the system? Third, check your output patterns. Is the model getting less confident in its own predictions all of a sudden? And finally, keep an eye on system resources. Is there some crazy, unexplained spike in server usage? That could mean a brute force attack is happening right now.
Now, beyond just making sure your model is working right, there is another huge piece of this puzzle, protecting it as intellectual property. I mean, let's be real. These models are the crown jewels of your entire AI investment.
And thankfully, you've got a whole toolkit of technical tricks to protect that IP. Things like model watermarking, where you embed a hidden signature to prove it's yours if it ever gets stolen. You've got your standard but essential encryption and strong access controls. There's obfuscation, which is basically scrambling the model's code to make it a nightmare to reverse engineer. And you can even use secure enclaves. Think of them as a locked, hardware-based vault where your model runs, protecting it even while it's in use.
But, you know, technology alone is never the complete answer. Your operational security, the human side of things, is just as critical. We're talking about secured development environments, super strict version control for your model assets, and of course, proper employee screening and solid confidentiality agreements. And it also means doing some serious due diligence before you trust any third-party partner with your valuable AI.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Why does this matter? It's simple, really. A compromised model or stolen IP can cause devastating financial and reputational damage. Your AI models are incredibly high-value assets, and they're facing threats your traditional security team probably isn't ready for. And that leads directly to what you should take away from all this. Security can't be an afterthought. It just can't. It has to be a core part of the entire AI lifecycle, right from the very beginning. So we've walked through the new threats, and we've looked at the multi-layered defenses you need to put in place, which leaves you with one final question to think about. Is your organization's security strategy really ready for this new AI battlefield?